Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's talk show. Our guest tonight needs no introduction. It is the Executive Director of KCCA, now just 1 month shy of 1 year in office. That is the KCCA Executive. We examine the effectiveness of the authority. Even as the debate over who is in charge at City Hall continues, the jury is out on whether the authority has met expectations 11 months on. That's for the Executive Director. And our guest tonight, the Executive Director, KCCA, Ms. Jennifer Musisi, will put the debate into perspective. But before we do that, let's introduce you to our poll question for tonight. And tonight, we are asking, is Musisi doing a good job in managing Kampala City? Is Musisi doing a good job in managing Kampala City? SMS your yes or no answer to 8778 and we'll show you the results at the tail end of tonight's show. Welcome back. And Ms. Jennifer Musisi, you're on the spot, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
My first question to you is 11 months. For you, it's actually exactly 11 months in office. Today, you will make 1 year on the 15th of April. How has the road been so far?
Very exciting, but also very challenging. Exciting because we've seen a lot of progress in spite of the challenges. And very challenging because everybody has to adjust to implementing a new legislation that's changing things very, very significantly in the way the city was run and in the way business was done in the city. So, yeah, mostly exciting.
Let's go into details now in terms of your office, because you're hands-on. You've been in office for 11 months. I'll break it down. We'll begin with infrastructure, because this is the biggest concern for people here in the city. First of all, take us through what you've done, because 11 months down the road, you found a city that was pothole-ridden, and we won't go into garbage and of course the other problems the city faces. But in terms of infrastructure, the potholes, the drainage facilities, and of course the flooding that we were seeing during the rainy season, take us through what you've done so far.
Okay, as soon as I came into office, because it was just myself and the KCCA, I looked at the biggest problems that the city was facing, the immediate problems that people were concerned about. These were about 3. One was the poor state of the roads. The second one was the filth in the city. The third one was congestion, in terms of the congestion on the streets, the human beings, the traffic, the vendors on the streets. And then others like the city was dark and therefore prone to crime in the night. And the drainage system was very bad during floods. So those are some of the main areas we looked at, but also very wanting service delivery. So we immediately started to look at ways of improving in these various areas and creating some relief to the public. So that's where we started. Almost immediately we started on the roads, trying to repair the roads. We're limited by the budget that we had, but we thought we could do what we can. And in order to make the money that we had stretch as much as possible, to cover as much area as possible, we started using a force account method. That means we buy the materials. We found we had equipment in our stores, and we started doing this work using our in-house staff, which significantly cuts down costs. But it's also quite slow because you have to go through the procurement process to procure the materials you need. But it saved us quite a bit of money, and it was able to address some of the very urgent bad roads. And then eventually we've been able to procure contracts to do some of the bigger projects. And going forward, we think we'll do a bit of both, force account and then the contracting out of this project. So we have worked on roads like Gaddafi Road, Allen Road, Buxton Street, Sick Lane, Namirembe Road, Channel Street, Ben Chiwanuka, Berkeley, among others. We're also doing the Chiwatule Road ourselves. It has taken a bit of time, but we're using in-house capacity.
Let's finish the Chiwatule Road, because we got a lot of feedback when we said you're coming here. How long will it take you to finish this road? That, first of all, you've actually, like you said, have taken a bit of time. How long do you foresee the completion of what, 2-3 kilometers?
Yes, we planned to finish it in about 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 kilometers. The challenges we found, one was because, first of all, we wanted to do a very good road, you know, as roads should be built, which hasn't been the case in the past. We were using in-house equipment and in-house capacity. The equipment we have is Chinese equipment. This equipment does not have a dealership in Uganda. Strangely enough, the equipment was brought without a dealer in Uganda. So it tends to break down quite frequently. It's very difficult to get spare parts or to fix it. So that hampered our progress quite a bit. The other challenge we found is that force account requires procurement of materials. We have to go through a procurement process, and we found that would sometimes be delayed by the process we have to go through, the bidding, the evaluation, the preparation of the contract, Solicitor General's approval. It takes quite a bit of lead time. So we've had to, we've been slowed down on this project. But also when it rains, you can't do like surface dressing, you can't prime the road. So the combination of this has slowed us down a bit. We eventually had to resort to hiring some of the equipment just to make the project move faster. And as of today, we are priming, I think, the last leg of that road going to Chiwatule. We hope to put road furniture, we hope to put lights on it so that it's a really nice road, and also to finish the drainages. But we thought that we could do the carriageway first, which we are really working on finishing. So those have been some of the challenges. And
with the, initially you told us you received 40 billion from government to do roads. 42. And then 42 billion to do roads.
Yes.
And also you did find some money actually on the KCCA accounts.
Yes.
I don't know whether you used most of that also for the infrastructure in terms of roads. Is there money between now, because the month is almost done? I mean, the business year ends in what, 2 months?
Yeah.
Is there enough time for you and money to actually complete most of the other roads? Because this city still has huge potholes, a huge, I would say, backlog in terms of infrastructure that should have been done in the past, but hasn't been done. And with the rains coming, that probably will get worse.
Realistically speaking, the roads have deteriorated over the last so many years of disrepair. The other problem is the poor workmanship that has gone into the roads that have been done. With the funds that we have, it is not possible to do all the roads that we need to do. And that's why we've had to choose between filling potholes and doing surface dressings. Surface dressing is a much more expensive process, but you get better roads in terms of lifespan. If you look at the roads like Allen Road and the road above Kololo, airstrip, those roads have been resurfaced. It's very nice, but very expensive. The funds that we have could not allow us to do that for all the roads. So we're doing a mix. For some roads, we are patching potholes. For others, we're doing surface dressing. We had a program, a works program that we submitted to the road fund to address the infrastructure problems. Not all of them, but what we thought would make impact. And we eventually got a budget of 42 billion, just under 43 billion. But we then got a challenge because we inherited, because of the law, we inherited Kampala roads that were under Ministry of Works. So we had to commit 17 billion to those ongoing contracts like Kafumbe Mukasa Road and Lumumba Avenue, which were ongoing. Then we committed, we used 3 billion for force account, that is buying the materials and paying the labor and fixing the equipment. So we found that we had just about 23 billion only left. Most of that has already been committed to different projects that are ongoing, that are under procurement. Some we have awarded. So we think that by the end of the financial year, we'll actually be short of funds. We have requested government to give us a supplementary to try and do more, considering that we had to commit some to the roads that we inherited from, that we took over from the Ministry of Works. So we do need more funding, but we're doing what we can with the funds that we have right now.
Madam Executive Director, we are going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we'll still be discussing infrastructure, and of course, as I mentioned, the rains are coming, what you're planning to do with the drainage problems here in the city, especially the flooding. We're taking a very short break, but before we do that, let's take you back to our poll question for tonight, in which we are asking, is Musisi doing a good job in managing Kampala City? Is Musisi doing a good job in managing Kampala City? Do SMS your yes or no answer to 8778, and we will bring you that poll result towards the end of tonight's show. Don't go away.